Welcome to the podcast where we speak truth, illuminate power, and fully embody who the fuck we are. This is the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. We are all about spiritual evolution, spiritual growth, talking about the things that may be controversial, even some triggering concepts, but we are all about expansion. Come on in and join us as we reclaim and recenter ourselves in the power of who we really are. We are the Light Warriors, and welcome to the revolution.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Episode 130 of the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. And if you are watching the video version of this on YouTube, you will see Tony is ever present. She definitely shows up in this podcast episode, especially near the end when we were just closing off, where she was like, it's time to finish in the space of it all. But we were talking deeply, Sasha and I, about astrology. And we went through some of the aspects of my chart and what that means. And if you have never had an astrology reading before or have been through your chart, this is going to be an eye-opening conversation today about different aspects of what this means and how this is an evolution moving through. And I asked her to, channel in a message, and she talks about what is to come over the next 18 months with the node system of astrology. And we also deep dive into conversations about starseeds and about our soul contracts and different dynamics of the energies moving through the field. And let me just share with you her bio so you can get a feel for what is about to come. So Sasha is a modern day outback Australian witch, mother, soul healer, aromatherapist, astrologer, and more. Her Gemini Sun keeps her mind active and open. Her Aquarius Moon reminds her of her mission to society, especially mothers. And her Leo rising gives her the confidence to stand up and share it with the world. And we dive into that. We dive into my chart. We move through the dynamics of her childbirth and stuff she believes about society and the truths that are coming through. So as you know, it's always an eclectic mix of energies as we move through these podcast episodes, because we all are multidimensional people. And it's really fun. This was a really fun episode. It was like two girlfriends hanging out over coffee, chilling about, talking about life. So I can't wait to introduce you to Sasha in episode 130 of the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. Well, who knows what's about to happen over the next period of time in our world, but I am
unknown period of time, 20 minutes,
sure
60 minutes.
How long we're going to go.
Eventually we will make ourselves shut up.
Yeah.
Someone set a timer.
We're not sure what's about to come through. And isn't that the beautiful thing about life, Sasha? Mm-hmm. Like we just get to evolve and move through. So I just want to welcome you to the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. And
thank you.
Yeah, let's just dive into the space right now. We were just talking before we hit record about how she's a Gemini and I'm a Gemini, and about how this amazingness is about to kind of blow up in your ears. So just be prepared for unleashing coming through the Gemini portal.
I love that though. And I've always found that obviously I'm drawn to Geminis, and Geminis are drawn to me. Like it's that kindred spirit thing. It's that two soul thing. We just have each other's backs. It's really lovely.
Yeah. It's
so of course, before we recorded, it's like, yeah, you're a Gemini, I'm a Gemini. Of course we're Geminis.
Yeah, of course we are. And we both have pretty strong rising signs. So
big fiery rising signs. Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting combination, to put us together in the space of everything.
Not too many fucks given here.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Oh my gosh. So let's chat a little bit about into this energy of like this fire. I feel like I want to go there first, because it's like we've got this duality of air, and then we've got fire moving through in this air sign in the space of everything. Now, I don't know a lot about astrology, and I never claim to know a lot about astrology, but what does this mean?
Oh, you're in luck then, because I'm an astrologer. So
well, there you go. So let's talk about that real quick.
Let's look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, because
that's where
something. Yeah.
That's where not my most recent, but my most life-changing, what's the word? I went for a walk and I had it in my head. Spiritual awakenings. That's the word. Yeah. That's my probably my biggest, most profound life-changing spiritual awakening in terms of like 3D life was astrology.
Interesting.
So I'm a Gemini Sun, you're a Gemini Sun. You're a Gemini Moon, I'm an Aquarius Moon. So we've both got air suns, air moons, and then Aries rising for yourself and a Leo rising for myself. So fire rising signs. It's fun. It's fun. As I said, there's definitely an element of no fucks given, though. Arguably, Aries would carry that energy stronger. But I mean, then it's your podcast. I'm just a guest.
Just speak freely on the podcast, Sasha. Okay, like don't.
Oh
even,
yeah.
I know. I'm just joking.
Oh.
Why don't you just tell everybody what you think?
Yeah. Well, and this is you know, I've started coming around to the phrase that like people hire me to trigger them. People pay me to trigger them because I'm gonna say it like it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna hurt you on purpose, but I'm gonna say it like it is.
Yeah.
And part of that is, you know, the Gemini that everyone loves to hate.
Yeah.
And part of that's the Leo rising. Like I'm quite happy on a soapbox.
Yeah.
I quite like having photos taken of myself.
Yeah.
And you know, you go through that. Like, I run a women's retreat where we get our kid off in the creek and take photos in our underwear. Like,
yeah.
It was something that, you know, growing up, always knew I was a Gemini. We always know our sun sign. I always knew I was a Gemini.
Yeah.
And that I come to terms with, like, I'm inquisitive, I'm communicative, I like to learn, I like to talk. I'm not so good at listening. I'm working on that side of myself. But it was discovering the rest of it. And I had spent my whole life being quite unconfident in my outwardness, my confidence. My, you know, in a previous lifetime, this lifetime, you know, in the before 4 times.
Yeah.
Because we have to, and on a podcast like this, we have to clarify, don't we?
Yeah,
it was still this human incarnation, but it felt like a previous lifetime.
Yeah.
I did a music degree, so I was playing piano on stage.
Yeah.
Quite unsure and quite lacking confidence in this person that I was, that felt confident to stand up, who, you know, and you're going into business and people are like, oh, you need to show up on your stories, put your face in your stories. I was like, that's not a problem for me. And it wasn't until I really got the astrology side of it, I was like, oh, that would be the Leo rising.
Yeah.
That would be the Leo rising.
Yeah. I don't have any challenges stepping up that way either, but I also am an introvert. So it's also kind of weird as a Gemini to be an introvert and for people to be like, shut up. And I'm like, no, I mean,
that's where I would look at what house your moon sign is in.
Yeah.
And as a Gemini sun. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's odd. I would say Gemini sun, Gemini moon. You're born on a new moon or just before, just after.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I'd kind of be looking at how close that is, because you can find that when I will often find when I have 2 placements on top of each other or close enough in a conjunction that they can kind of cancel each other out. And they can have this effect on one's psyche. So if you've got this Gemini sun, Gemini moon, and obviously I don't have your chart, I'm not going to pull it up right now. I mean, we can if you really want to. No. But we can have a look. It could be that kind of interplay. But third, but this is where there's so much more, and this people don't get, like, oh, I know my sun sign, or I know my sun moon rising. It's like, okay, what's your Venus sign?
Yeah.
What's your Mercury sign?
Yeah.
Where's your North Node?
Yeah.
Where's your Chiron? Like all the juicy stuff that actually tells us more about who we are. Like the big 3 are the big 3 for a reason. But I pull about 24 points on a chart.
Oh, I have no doubt. That's why I always say to people, like, I am not an astrologist. I know top line stuff, and the way that I channel in the world always seems to align with planetary alignment. So it's like I'll like be launching, like,
of course it does,
courageous circle on a certain date, and then I realize it's on a full moon and it's like the courageous moon circle. Like, you know, and it's just like I just intuitively lead that way.
And that's part of living in alignment, like living in cosmic alignment. And there's different ways to get there. And I definitely found for myself it was through the more bookish route. Okay. You know, I learned and I studied and I practiced and I worked with people. I started, even my most recent certification, it was an 8-month program. And after the first weekend, I was working with people. Yeah. Because a part of that, you know, that fiery rising is like, I'm willing to try and fuck up.
Yeah. I love that.
Like, I'm not scared of fucking up.
Well, and I think there's so many people right now in the world that are fearful of fucking up and they need it to be perfect. And like one of the main key messages right now is like, you need to choose the life you really want to live and step behind it with courage. And it's like, it's time, and it's been time for a while, and it will be time again next week, but it's like, it's there and it's coming through really potently.
It's recognizing that Earth has a fear virus.
Yeah.
And not every planet and not every dimension has a fear virus. We do.
Yeah.
That's
funny.
But it's an inescapable fact. We're not going anywhere on that. We have it. But it's like anything. From the awareness comes the power. Once you know, is my fear genuine
Hmm.
or am I infected?
Yeah.
You know,
Point of
how
view.
are my antibodies going when it comes to the fear virus at the moment? Because, you know, all of us, even the most confident and brave, will have moments of doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have moments of doubt. I mean, you know, here I am saying, expressing all the times when I feel wonderful and confident, but I doubt all the time.
Oh,
That's part of it.
it's a natural energy, but the challenge is, do you stay in the doubt? You know, like that's the real
Exactly.
thing. It's like you can feel it and you bring it up and you honor it. You're like, okay, I'm doubting myself. Like I was just finishing this waterfall rappelling like experience that I had. And by the sixth waterfall, when I was getting smacked up against the rocks because I couldn't get grip, I was doubting my ability to get fucking down off that waterfall, like that I could actually do it.
Yeah, shit.
And then I grounded in and I went, take a moment and breathe, close your eyes for a
Mhm.
second, get back into your body. You got this. And I got
Mhm.
down, obviously. It felt like I was up there for 20 minutes. It was actually 4 minutes. You know, when you look at the camera video that was taken, it's only 4 minutes. But in my mind, it was this massive thing. But that's the mechanism, is like the doubt will come through. But now what are the tools in order for you to step around that and step into that and move through? Yeah.
And taking responsibility for it too and going, oh, I'm scared right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. You're allowed to be scared. What am I going to do about it? And it's not to say that there's not times where you don't need outside help.
Yeah, of course.
I have a healer. Everyone should have a healer.
Yeah.
I have a support system. Everyone should have a support system.
Yeah.
I also have a platform and a community where I can just post my fears on the internet to share those with people.
Yeah.
Again, Leo rising, Gemini Sun, quite happy to just put it all out there. Aquarius Moon knows that that's helping other people too.
Of course.
That's how you learn to navigate it.
Yeah.
And part of that's from seeing other people do it, which is something that I do really strive to, is to share it so that people realize that they're not alone. And because I've had amazing mentors and friends who've done similar things, that I've seen them share a really vulnerable experience, a really challenging experience, and it's made me go, oh, me too.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what that is.
Yeah.
One of my mentors has a really, really lovely phrase, and she says, stories are shame melting. And we have to share that. We have to share those things, whether it's, you know, I fell over and hurt my ankle, whether it's I've been sexually assaulted, whether it's I hit my kid, whether it's whatever it is, you know.
Yeah. It's like we're not supposed to keep that shame inside.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that comes back to that fear virus, the fear of what other people will think of us.
Oh, huge.
You know, forgetting that there is people that are going to be so inspired by that share.
Yeah.
And I keep coming in the phrase real and raw share come back to me, but that's partly because you and I've connected through Claire. So it's like that real and raw vulnerability.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's funny. We can move off of the astrology piece unless it floats in with other conversation, but I just want to layer this in for you, is that my Venus is in Gemini too. So I know. I know. And like 10 of the 12 houses are in the planets the planets that rule that house. So I'm like a weird.
That's really cool.
I know, I'm a weird anomaly. And I don't
actually have that much Gemini then. Like as a Gemini sun, I have my sun and my midheaven in Gemini, and that's it.
Yeah, I have a lot, and it doesn't show up in the normal way that people usually categorize Geminis. It's really interesting. So I go more hermit than I do, like hermit and out into the world, than I do like the Jekyll and Hyde energy that some people see consistently, or they reference Gemini energy too. And
yeah.
I'm just weird. But
I found Capricorn and Cancer stelliums in my chart. And I have, you know, as a Gemini, Aquarius, Leo, who thinks emotions are stupid and doesn't use them. Cancers drive me up the fucking wall.
Oh my God.
In particular.
Yeah.
I have 3 Cancer children now.
Yeah, of course you do, because that's.
Of course I do.
Of course, let's bring the learning.
I have this big fat Cancer stellium with all of it's Chiron, my South Node, and Venus, so everything to do with relationships and the mother wound and
so cool.
past karma, and then I have 3 Cancer children conjunct that stellium.
Wow.
So, all right, fine. Universe is like, you know what? Guess what? You're now ready to heal this and move through this and take this on the next level. I'm like, no, I don't want to. Thanks, but no.
I didn't sign up for this. Yeah, you did.
When I went into labor with my son, I knew that I had actually got my almanac out and I'd looked, when does the sun enter Leo? And I was counting down the days, and then I was like counting down the hours. I went into labor at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the day before the sun was due to enter Leo. I was like, it's like 15 hours away. I'm not going to be in labor for 15 hours. Shit.
Yeah, like, yeah, because you already manifested a fast labor and you're like,
I free birthed actually. Like it was, speaking of getting out of, we were talking earlier, you know, getting out of systems and, again, fear virus. Best day of my life. Very, very cool experience. But I was
do it at
going
home? Tell me about it, like, because I'll tell you a story about what I'm going to be doing if I actually have kids in this lifetime. I'm not sure yet if that's coming to fruition. But yeah, tell me about.
So I didn't do it at home because I live in butt fuck nowhere.
Yeah.
I live 100. Well, technically there is a hospital here, but it's my mother's the doctor. So we're not. With love. She's an amazing doctor.
Yeah.
Yes, darling. I cannot. I'm recording. I can't, darling. I need you to go.
This is what happens when we have kids. That are cancers.
That's our contract. That's our contract. So we didn't do it here because the nearest hospital, the nearest birthing hospital is 100 k's away. God forbid something went wrong. The odds of that happening in a multiparous birth, and I had already vaginally delivered twins, was very, very low. It's like less than 1%.
Yeah.
However, we went to the city. My nearest city is Adelaide. That's nearly 5 hours away. And I stayed at a girlfriend's house. Like, we've got a very, very dear friend. She was the first person who ever like looked after my children, so my husband and I could have a night away.
Yeah.
I gave birth on her bedroom floor.
Yeah. So wasn't planned for that to happen? Is that or
absolutely was planned? Yeah, we had. My husband's a painter, so he's pretty good with the floor sheets. So we had a horrible week. It was my kids' first illness that week. So they were 3. My daughters were 3. It was their first illness, their first temperatures, their first earaches. And then so it was like 2 children: temperature, earache, labor.
Yeah.
So my husband taking the kids out, and he got home just after lunch with the girls, and I was like, guess what? And he's like, oh fuck, here we go. So he's like gone into the bedroom, plastic sheeted it, put towels down on top of everything. Didn't work. My waters broke, and they shot out onto the bed.
That is amazing.
That video is on Instagram. I just start laughing. It was hilarious.
I love
birth is amazing. Yeah. It's not a medical event. It can be a medical event, but it's not a medical event. And I just gave birth to my son by myself, with my husband. At home while my daughters were asleep in the next room.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And I'll talk about that till the cows come home. It was fucking glorious.
I will not enter the system when I'm pregnant. Like, I will not even go to anything. Everything will be intuitively led and felt. And I say to everyone, so I'm single technically right now, and it's not in my plan as a soul on this earth. Like, it's not a necessary thing that I have to have kids in this lifetime. It's a choice whether I want to or not. And when I meet my guy, if he's like, I want kids, then I'll be like, okay, I'm down. However, there's some qualifications around this. Like, there's
absolutely,
because I'm like, I still have a huge mission. I still need to be doing this kind of work. I will be a mother to our kids, but I can't be full-time 100% mom. That's not my MO. No matter how much money you make, there's still a mission that comes through me. So we've got to find either a balance in this, or I've got to have some support somehow through some things or whatever. But I live in Costa Rica, so I am in the jungle. Yeah. And like pure jungle, that I am literally going to bring in some elders from some of the indigenous tribes, women elders, and I am going to birth the baby literally like hanging from the vines of a tree onto the land. So like that's amazing. What I want to do. And everything will be taken care of, like all the things, I could get midwives if I choose, like whatever I want to do. It's just like, that's it.
Mine went a bit like swung in opposite direction. Like, I knew that I wanted to when I had my children. So my origin story is actually infertility, but we won't go that far back.
Yeah.
But when I had my children, I knew I wanted to birth them at home.
Yeah.
And then I had twins, and I found out I was twins. So we had gone through, we hadn't had fertility. There was no fertility treatments. Thank you. That's the word. but I had seen a fertility clinic and then had a surgery and got diagnosed with endometriosis. And 6 weeks later fell pregnant with twins. And so because we had been seeing the clinic, because I had multiple miscarriages, we went back to the clinic for a scan, found out it was twins. And then that started really derailing everything because, again, fear virus. People are so scared of twins. It's variation of normal. I knew I was going to birth vaginally. I knew that wasn't an option for me. Like I wasn't going to, and I ended up with some shitty obstetrician who did respect me when I was like, no, I'm not going to get that jab. No, I'm not going to have an induction. No, I'm not going to do that test. No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm going to monitor my blood sugar at home. All of those things. But he still was like, I section all my twins. And he called me crazy after I gave birth. So, I didn't want to work with him, but, the biggest issue was that it is illegal to home birth twins in South Australia.
Wow. So
it is illegal. So I was always going to hire a private midwife and give birth at home. I was going to do it in Adelaide because the support system here is, I have an amazing support system in this town, but when it comes to me birthing sovereignly, that was never going to happen here. And that's okay because my husband wouldn't have been comfortable with it either. So it was also going to be in town, but I couldn't hire anyone. There was no one I could hire who would do it because they would be up for legal charges,
right?
If they attended. So I had to choose either free birth, my first birth, which was twins. If it was only one, I probably would have considered it. Actually, if it was one, I would have had a home birth. That's not even a question. A private home birth, but a home birth. But I had to then choose to navigate the hospital system. First birth was great. Second birth was not. And so when I was pregnant with my son, I was like, I'm not going to. I did have one scan at 20 weeks. And that was partly it was because I have, scans of my daughters and they have tons of scans. They have far more scans than I wanted to have because they kept funny excuses like, oh, if you want to enter the midwifery group practice program, we need a scan to confirm this. I'd go, well, I want to birth in the midwifery group practice program. So I'll do that. I didn't end up getting into it. There's lots of little things, and I got better and better at saying no, obviously, and not going in for monitoring. But with my son, I had the one scan. I wanted him to have a photo of himself as baby, but also it helped really put us at ease. Like, okay, I knew there was only one in there. There is definitely only one in there. When everything's tracking right over fingers and toes, there's nothing of concern there. And that really put my husband's mind at ease. Like, yep, cool, the one baby, the thing. I watched you give birth to 2 babies in one day. I can come around to the free birth idea. We'll do it. And we did it. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend it. I probably recommend having, and part of this is, a community of women, a supportive community of women. And that's what you're describing, is a supportive community of experienced women who know what the fuck is going on. I did have that, but it's something that took time to build. Because we don't have that innately anymore. And if we do, a lot of them are breast milk formula apologists and C-section apologists and my doctor saved my life apologists and what do you mean you don't vaccinate your children apologists. It can be really hard to find like-minded people.
Like I'm gonna have like women with drums in the fire ceremony as I'm birthing. Like it's gonna be like ancient indigenous ceremonial tribe. Like it is gonna be the coolest beautiful thing ever.
I ate all my placentas.
Yeah, well, I know. So this is a funny fucking story. So I'm out with some friends like that are more like new friends, superficial kind of people when I got here that didn't really get me fully, but I was trying to get my feet wet into an environment. And we had a girls' night and all of us smoked some marijuana. And I was telling them, I'm like, no, eating your placenta is a thing. And they were like, you're fucking nuts and you're crazy and da 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 and all these things. I was like, guys, you need to look it up. Like, this is actually a thing, The
problem is that when you look it up, right, we're looking it up through the lens of a machine. If you look up acupuncture on Wikipedia, it still calls it a pseudoscience. It's like, are we fucking for real?
Yeah.
Placenta is a traditional Chinese medicine herb. Like it's actually an ancient Taoist medicine herb. And I was vegan at the time and I've moved past that program.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to eat it, but I dried them and encapsulated them.
Yeah.
And consumed them for months and I still take it. Like, so I've just got my first bleed back.
Yeah.
On the dark moon, my first bleed since I had my son.
Nice.
In over 2 years since my last bleed. And I was like, where's my placenta tincture? Yeah. I always take placenta tincture when I'm bleeding. Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
Always. because it is.
Yeah, you can do
It's
it that way.
medicine.
It's not like you're just like eating it raw and
No,
down.
you don't have to like,
I
you
know.
know,
Yeah.
and if that's I did consider smoothieing some this time.
Yeah.
Like putting a piece in a smoothie.
Yeah.
But I was like, we were so tired from having sick kids for a week. And then I was a bit crook myself. And then, it was like, you know what, this isn't that important. We just sent it to my friend, the encapsulator. And 3 days later, we got back a box of pills, pardon me, and placental prints, like prints of the placentas.
So
I haven't got
cool.
them framed yet. It's on my to-do list. I can't wait to hang my kids' pictures of my kids' placentas on the wall. They'll hate it. They'll be like 15 one day. I'm like, Mum, can you take that fucking thing down?
You weirdo. Be like, are you sure you want to come to my house? My mom's a little bit weird. Like
I know, right?
like,
and it's not those kind of like, the programs we had, like, oh, my mum's really mean. Like, she won't let us watch TV. Like, we won't go to Sasha's house or whatever. Like, we're not going to go there. They don't have any junk food at that house. It's going to be like, would we have to? And everyone will think I'm super cool, right? Yeah. Everyone will think, oh, your mum's so cool. And my kids will be like, we go to your house.
Yeah.
Mum's been like drumming for 2 days.
Yeah. My house smells like sage, and my mom is like telling us all these new things that you have to create a symbol before you walk in the door, and like all the protocols.
My kids are. We were on Christmas holiday, and we were sitting with the kids, and we're in a caravan park, and there's people everywhere. And this little boy is talking about his elf on the shelf, and one of my 4-year-olds goes, well, "We have spells so the elves can't get in." Yes. Parenting win. Because we do.
Well, I have a client of mine that's really connected to fairy energy. And at one point in time, she actually had pixies at her house. And I said, look, the pixie energy is a duality energy. So we've got to clear some aspects. It's not just the fairy realm here now. The pixies are troublemakers,
We have a fairy garden outside.
Yeah.
And there is my daughters do have fae in them. They have fae heritage.
Yeah.
And we do represent that on their altar in their bedroom. But the fairy garden is outside, and there is a besom over the front door.
Yeah.
And there is a besom over their bedroom door.
Yeah.
And there is no elf on the shelf getting in here because just no.
There's just fairy gardens. Yeah. I definitely have a really tight connection to Avalon energy and working with fairy energy through Avalon time.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, I was one of the 12th knights on the round table with King Arthur. So Merlin.
That's fun.
Yeah, Merlin and the wizard round too are also my jam. Like I work a lot with that type of energetics. So like I play in this world and people are like, what should I expect from the session with you? I was like, that you're going to go on to an arcade game adventure. And when you come out, you're going to be like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm like, that's what transpires every time. Like, it's just the coolest work ever. So yeah, it's neat. It's really neat when we understand this more and trust in the process of it,
Yeah.
Trust in that. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
People ask me what they're going to get out of a session with me. And when we're like, probably a lot of insights that you didn't want to hear, that you already knew, but you didn't want to hear them.
Yeah.
Like I said, people pay me to trigger them.
Yeah. Well, they're ready. They're technically.
And sometimes they're not. I have had a really, really wonderful woman and client end our coaching relationship because turns out she wasn't ready. And she thought she was, and she wasn't. And I just put this, I'm currently launching my one-on-one all access coaching container again. I started that yesterday. And someone said to me, like, what kind of criteria do you have people that work with you? Or is there any? I said, well, short answer is no, except you've got to be willing to do that. You've got to be ready to do the work.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's really hard to assess because whether it's in conversations, in the DMs or in a discovery call, because people will come to you saying they're ready, especially at this time of the year. I'm sure you're seeing things like people saying, it's not the real new year. And no, it's not. It's a calendar invented by men.
Yeah, of course.
But there is still an energy of new year that we are all riding. Like it's not an egregore, but it's like an egregore. There's an energetic spirit of newness here.
Of course.
So people ride that and they think, oh, I am ready now.
Yeah.
And I'm privy to it too. I didn't have New Year's resolutions. We have things that our family starting this week, just because that's how it timed. But it's a good time for it because we're being swept up in there. Everyone's feeling like let's do that. And it really had to. People will say they will want to believe that they are ready to do the work.
Yeah.
But I often find I'd rather people just wait. I've got one really beautiful client. She's been in my universe for years. She lives in the States. She attends all my retreats.
Yeah.
Like she has every single thing I offer, all of my high tickets, everything. But she'd never joined one of my lower tickets, which is I call it Close Friends and a Consult, where it's like Instagram close friends, so you get all of my internal insights and personal messages and everything else. But you get a 30 minutes with me a month. And she wasn't ready to sign up for that because she knew that she'd have 30 minutes with me. And then next month, she have another 30 minutes with me, nothing will change. And she knew she wasn't ready for that. So she keeps coming up, she keeps showing up. She's not leaving the universe. She keeps coming back. And then this year she's turned around and gone, I'm ready. I'm ready. So she bought another high ticket offer to work with me for the whole year.
Yeah.
And because she's ready, because she sat back for 3 years and watched.
Yeah.
And waited. And then she realized, no, now I am ready. Now is the time.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it takes that long, but that's because she's used to me calling her on her bullshit.
Of course.
She knows what she's going to get out of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably what you'll get out of me is it is very validating, I find too, or my clients find as well, especially looking into the charts and things like that. It's like, this is why you're whatever way you are,
whatever
this
it
is why you feel this way, this is why this has been challenging for you recently.
Yeah, it's interesting
it's all
journey there. Like I still haven't figured out, and I've been saying this for a while, I don't know if we are really ever ready, and I need to find an actual word that we can describe instead of ready, because I think our soul is like, it's time, but our human is resistant to it all, even though the pathway is like, this is what needs to happen. And whether that's shadow work,
well, our human lives on a planet infected with a fear virus.
Yeah, that too. That too. And our soul's like, come on, like, let's get moving and stuff. And I have such a strong gate in front of my energetic field that you can't come in unless the timing is aligned, which means that if you're coming in to say yes, then my job is to make sure to hold the calibration. Now, I can't do the work for you. Like some of my one-to-one clients that have picked up packages, I am not chasing you to book your call. Like and
I've had the same thing with clients. Like, yep, I couldn't do your call because my car broke down during Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
But then you didn't come to the reschedule, but you let me know at the last minute. But I'm not now going to chase you to reschedule that. I've put the car, like, I want that for you. You've paid for it. I don't want you to leave disgruntled or anything like that. I want you to leave feeling empowered. But I'm not going to keep chasing you. And that's like, my coaching container has, I'm in Voxer 2 days a week with them.
Yep.
It is a waste of your money if I'm having a conversation with myself in Voxer.
Yeah.
If I come in every Tuesday and every Friday and you don't respond.
Yeah.
I know life is going to keep lifing. You're going to miss weeks. You're going to miss days. You're going to get distracted from whatever your goal is at the time. Like, absolutely. That's why you have a coach.
Yeah.
But if you don't show up for yourself, like no one else is going to show up for you, honey. Like, no one is going to show up for you if you're not going to show up for yourself.
Yeah. It's very interesting to watch how this is playing out. So I just let everyone know, we're recording this on January 3rd. This podcast probably won't launch till April. So when we're talking about the new year, we're actually talking about the calendar new year, not the actual astrology new year that will
not the astrological new year.
The real new year.
Which we will get. We are going to get that. It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
And it may be, but this may really, like, this conversation may really lean into people at that time, coming off of that new year when we're going into Taurus season. And
so it all is perfect in alignment, whether they listen to it when it first launches or they pick it up a year later, because that's happening too.
Exactly right.
That people are like, oh my God, I just came across your podcast, and people are floating in and out of the realm. But I literally this morning, I've been following this woman, and I knew I was supposed to work with her as a mentor. And I have been in her field maybe for about 2 weeks only. I did a masterclass of hers, and I was like, Spirit's like, you need to work with her. And I saw a post that she made about this 1 week intensive container. And I just heard, that's the one. And I was like, okay, so I sent her a message, and she's like, this is the price. This is what it's going to be. We do one call together at the beginning to clear out a whole bunch of shit. And then you have a week in Messenger with her. And my first instinct was like, what am I going to ask her in Messenger for a week? Like, I don't even know, what that even looks like and means. And I know that I'll obviously be guided in the right perspective of it all, but I'm like, I'm just in for the clearing, because I know the possibility of what she's like, her stick, let's say, or her soul's mission is clearing unconscious money blocks for next level.
Cool. Yeah.
And in the way that you consciously can't even gather. And just by doing her masterclass, I found 20 energetic imprints that and I've done a lot of work around money. I've done a lot of healing work. Like I've been in this world for 14 years, actively doing work in my own energy. I had a lot of shit to clear apparently. And I can feel it. And it's like, she's about to open up like this stupidly crazy, huge January month for me. That is going to be beyond anything that I know. And I know.
And it's like, yes, I'm so here for this. And part of it's like,
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Clear the calendar.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's like, I can't do our first call till Tuesday. And I was like, that's exactly the right amount of time. Because let me get everything in place to back up what is about to transpire for me. Because it's going to
you'll be entering your 12th house season then at a similar, very, very shortly after. So it's an Aries rising.
Yeah.
The like, you know, your chart, the Aries is the line over the side of this, and the 12th house, that's a house of like rest and recuperation. And so coming into your Aries rising, depending on where Aries is in your chart, but that like Pisces time,
yeah, that
we will enter. You'll have Aquarius in the 11th house probably throughout this end of January time you're talking about, but then you'll have that Pisces, like you'll take all this on. I can just see you taking all this on, and then having to like really step back and reflect. And then with that astrological new year, which is also going to be your personal new year, because we've got a calendar new year, an astrological new year, we've got a lunar new year, we've also got personal new years. That time before, I have an analogy with the houses in astrology where the rising sign that day is that, and everyone, Harry Potter, Hawks is dead on the ground, right? And there's that spark of flame.
Dude, I love
that's your rising day. That's the potential that comes. And that first house in astrology is the flame that comes out of the ashes that makes you go, oh, it's not dead. The 12th house is the ashes.
Yeah.
There is no bird. In the 12th house, you've gone, fuck, I killed forks.
Yeah. So I'm an Aquarius 12th house.
I'm sorry, I killed your bird, Professor.
And so Aquarius actually fits with the 12th house because it is in my chart. It's technically in this. Oh, I guess it won't be because it's coming out of that. Because Aquarius.
Yeah, but it's all leading into that time. Yeah. It's all leading into that time. It's all, you're doing this shift. You and this is what I mean by like living. You found the perfect time for it.
Yeah.
It's going to really It's going to really not mess with, but mess with. Yeah. Not in a negative way, but mess with your January. And then you're going to be like, shit, you'll find that integration through that 12th house. And you'll come out at your personal new year, which is going to be similarly timed to the lunar and the astrological new year, and be like,
that's crazy.
Bam!
How it's all like they're aligned together. Like I'm just like, this just babbles my brain that my soul was like, let's just stack the deck. Like, let's just not make it hard for you this way.
And you say like, whatever the word that is ready, like clearly you're at the next stage of readiness.
Oh yeah.
For this next thing, even if you're like, all right.
Well, let me layer this for you. My first house is obviously in Aries, but it contains my Chiron.
Oh, your Chiron, yes.
Chiron.
So you're wounded healer. And that, when you're talking before about like you're an introvert.
Yeah.
Our first house is how we show up.
Yeah.
It's our sense of self. It's how we show up. And you've got a little wound there. Now, Chiron in Aries is the most common Aries placement because Chiron's in the most time in Aries out of all the signs. A lot of people have wounds around showing up, around leadership.
Yeah.
Well, but this is where you are, particularly with the Aries, with the rising sign as well, here to pave that way, to be a way shower for that.
Right. Which makes a lot of sense.
Shine the light.
Yeah.
For others to follow.
Well, I have a core wound of invisibility. So it's a wound that I have to work through in this lifetime all the time. Like, well, I've done a lot of work around it, so it's not hard any longer, but okay, wait, I have one more thing. It'll
keep flaring up. Like our birth chart is our soul's blueprint for this incarnation. There are clues to the rest of our multidimensional selves and our past lives and our soul families and our star families and everything else are contained in there. But then the things that you've like, that's, and I've always been a bit funny with the term soul contract because I see some things that people say are soul contracts and I find them, I don't know, I'm still working it out. But your birth chart is your soul contracts. That's not changing. You can't change that.
Yeah.
You can work with it. You can learn more about it. You can do a lot of healing around it, especially about Chiron.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going anywhere. it's not like, you know, you get to tick that off your list. Like, oh, Chiron and Aries, check. You don't get to tick it off.
Yeah.
It's going to rear its ugly head again in the next cycle, in the next incarnation. It's going to come back again. It's going to, not like, I mean, earthly incarnation. I mean, this earthly, it's going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
It's going to come back to it. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But learning to work with it that's where the magic is. That's where the way shower aspect becomes, because when you know I have Chiron and Aries, it shows up for me like this. You recognize it sooner. This is the awareness piece we were talking about before.
Right. Yeah.
And then because you are aware of it and you're happy to talk about it and share it, it then tells other people, oh, that's right. And we come back to that story as being shame motivating. I have a similar thing. This woman is doing what I want to do with similar concerns, challenges, placements. And that's how we build, and that's how we share, and that's how we grow, and that's how we create change.
I love this.
And it's lovely.
I feel like I just got an astrology reading. I should send you some money or something.
Fine.
But one more layer I'll just add into that is I have Gemini and Mercury too. That's good.
Yeah, that's fairly common.
Yeah.
Yeah. But your Mercury can't go too far from the sun. So it's always either in your sun sign or one either side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And same with Venus. It doesn't go, you will never have Venus opposite the sun.
Right.
Because Venus is closer to the sun than us. So then, you know, people go like, oh, astrology is meant, it's astronomy first.
Yeah.
Like it's astronomy first. You have to have an understanding of astronomy. Like Venus can't be opposite the sun because it's closer to the sun than us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. So interesting.
It's so fun.
Okay, let's switch gears just a little bit, because I think there's so much that you just said that if people actually looked at their own charts, they would be able to take something out of something you just said to me, even though it was like a personal reading. You know, I was like, thank you I'll receive that from you. Thank you.
No, that's fine.
What are you
I'll talk about astrology all day.
Yeah, I know it is part of your path, which is amazing. There was one point in time where I was inclined to potentially think about it, but I'm like, there's so many people that this is what they're meant to be doing on the earth, that
and you've still got so much time.
Yeah.
Like it's not to say that it's not something that will come around later. I've been a witch since I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried tarot as a kid.
Yeah.
And I couldn't come to it. I was thinking about all of my various spiritual awakenings on my walk this morning. And the first one was my first book of witchcraft.
Nice.
And the second one was when I realized my heritage. I have Nordic heritage. And I started reading runes, not tarot. And I went, oh, the tarot is not for me. I don't need to read tarot. That's not I'm going to read runes. That makes more sense to me. I now read tarot.
Yeah.
It came when it was ready to come. Like it didn't come until my Saturn return, until my spiritual awakening that came with me recognizing my divinity as a starseed as well. And a light worker. Like that's when the tarot came back in. It was like 15 years between
that's
getting a tarot deck and realizing it wasn't right. Like, and every now and then I think, oh, there's so much I want to do. There's so much I haven't done. There's so much I need to do. And then I remember that I am 33 years old and I have 3 kids under 5 in the house. And there is so much time for me to do this other shit.
Yeah.
Whether it's learn to read tarot or learn to read charts, or I'm really interested in Eastern astrology. And I have not even had a chance to dip my finger in yet. But it's okay. Heaps of time.
Yeah.
Heaps of time. And it may not happen. And that's cool too.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, again, it's honestly, it's all part of the grand design. It is part of the design. It's also, you know, not part of the design. It's whatever will be, will be.
Yeah.
I'm not attached to the outcome.
Yeah. And I agree with you about that I wake up every day. I'm like, where do I need to be today? What are we doing?
Well, you described it with having kids or not.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like right now, probably not kids, but if the kids thing happens, the kids thing happens. Fucking cool. That was meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just so open. People are like, what's 2025 going to bring for you? I'm like, well, the intentional energy is expansion. But I don't know what that means, because I'm just going to get up every day and keep moving the energy through and figure out where I'm going to land. Like, that's how I got to Costa Rica. I was literally one day I woke up and Source was like, it's time to go to Costa Rica. And I was like, okay, when am I leaving? And they're like, in the fall. And I'm like, should I start selling stuff today? And they're like, yeah, all right. That's what I'm going to do.
Off you go. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
See, that makes me go, but I just planted 22 fruit trees, so I'm here for the long haul.
You're here for the long. You definitely are. Well, I never even been here when I moved. I had never set foot in this country at all. I had no idea what I was walking into. And that was part of the whole journey though for me.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. That's really cool. That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that. And I part of me is like, go do that. But I have too much fixed energy in my chart. Like it just, you know, you get talking about the Gemini thing. Like people think Gemini immutable, spontaneous, sort of like I am.
Yeah.
But I also have Aquarius and Leo, which are fixed signs.
Right.
So my spontaneity has boundaries.
Yeah. And you have 3 kids, so that's a whole other thing.
Well, yeah. And I have 3 kids. So we talked about moving before we had kids, and we had kids, and we're like, lucky it's a really nice town.
Yeah.
Not that we won't move somewhere one day, but right now I'm like, I just want to find 22 fruit trees. I want a chook yard. I don't want to go anywhere.
It's a flex being able to eat from a fruit tree. Like I have never felt more grateful to where I live than I do.
And Costa Rica would be amazing for that. Yeah.
It's like,
whereas I live in the desert. So we have to have like, we've had to do soil prep because the soil shit. We have had to have like real hardcore irrigation, like not hardcore, we're not like cropping, but like we've got serious irrigation put in because otherwise I'm not going to go out and water the fruit trees every day.
Yeah.
But they need it because it's going to be 40 degrees here today. Yeah. So, you know, it takes planning, and it takes work, and takes effort, and takes money. And you just get to like walk out inside and be like, that is a sweet fucking mango.
Yeah. Or like my landscaper comes and he just chopped a coconut from a tree and he's like, coconut? Sí, por favor. Like, yes, I will take that from you.
I would love that. Thank you.
Yeah, it is beautiful. The fruit is like, I can't even explain to people what it's like to live here. The food I get to eat is just like, beautifully
it's real food. It's real food.
Yeah. I know you and I could like riff off for 500 million years about all
like anything
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to just kind of lean into, what are you seeing moving forward in the collective that people may or may not understand or know about that is kind of a pertinent thing coming through that you feel called to share?
Definitely the nodal axis.
Okay. Got it.
So, all right, we're going back to astrology.
Yeah. That's cool.
But it does. I have seen the broader theme of this going into like Age of Aquarius, things like that as well. So it does cover, you know, it covers a lot. But in the immediate, like short term, every 18 months, the North Node and South Node change. Okay. So we're about to shift. We're recording in January. It's going to shift this month, and it will sit there for 18 months.
Right.
So the North and South Node are, cosmically, we talk about this being the nodes of fate, the nodes of karma, the nodes of destiny. The North Node is where we're going. The South Node is where we've come from. Astronomically, it's the point of intersection of the Earth's orbit, not the Earth's orbit, the Sun's orbit and the Moon's orbit. So it's where we get eclipses.
Gotcha.
So, you know, the Sun and Moon are constantly passing, but they don't always pass because their orbits are slightly different around us if you look at it from a geocentric perspective. But where that point of intersection is the node. And that's why when we have the nodes in where they've been for the last 18 months in Aries and Libra, all of the eclipses were in Aries and Libra.
Gotcha.
Moving into Virgo and Pisces, all of the eclipses are in Virgo and Pisces, or very close to. Sometimes it'll be in a sign next to it, depending on how close it is to the cusps. For me, this has really been so Virgo and Pisces. Like, what do we know about Virgo and Pisces? Virgo is this Earth maiden. We're talking immutable Earth sign. We're talking 2 mutable signs. Actually, they're both mutable Earth signs. People think of Virgos as being like type A, really grounded, beautiful, greens, that kind of thing. For me, Virgo is very much the myth of Persephone.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense.
And that, you know, that virgin that gets stolen, and then we lose our bountiful earth time, and as the mother grieves. Just want to put out there that maybe Persephone knew exactly what she was doing and wanted to get out of the thumb of an overprotective mother. And get a good dickin', just between you and me. Maybe so Hades has got good dick. Just saying. And
I see that,
and the Earth like going into winter because Ceres is pissed off and upset that her daughter like doesn't want to be like her. Anyway, sorry. And then Pisces is this liminal in between space. We've been talking about the 12th house. The 12th house and Pisces are associated. There's in between, there's visions, there's dreams, all of what comes through Pisces. And it's like, well, what has this got to do with the current collective energy?
Yeah.
What these two signs have in common is they are signs of service.
That makes sense.
And they're signs of service on a physical level and a cosmic level. So how do we serve Virgo as Virgo, and how do we serve as Pisces? And it's this aspect of service. Coming off Libra and Aries, we have been in this stage of me versus we. So the South Node has been in Libra, harmony, people pleasing, you know, giving away of oneself. And working with mothers as I do, it's been a lot of like, hey, if you constantly give to everyone else all the time, what have you got left for yourself? Whereas if you step into Aries energy, which is petulant toddler, me.
Yeah.
If you can meet all of your needs, doesn't everyone else benefit?
Right.
Like if you are strong and well rested and regulated nervous system, and of course your kids are going to be better behaved.
Yeah.
Of course your work is going to be easier because you've met your own needs first. And that's been the axis been on for the last 18 months.
Right.
Is working out, doing these things that serve others, not myself, is not actually in service of myself. And then when it comes to those of us who are aware of our missions, moving from that, which is like, and I went through this, like I ran a retreat with this energy, and I found myself people pleasing as the leader, Aries, of that retreat. And that was part of my, this is a lesson for me to unpack.
Right.
You know, it was my biggest retreat ever. I had 12 women and they weren't all coming to the scheduled things at the time. And so I'd wait because I was like worried about them, you know, not getting their full value, and there's money things there. But I was like, just like, no. They don't want to come. They don't want to come.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait for them. There's people who have come.
Yeah.
Like just lead, Sasha, lead. Because then that is in greater service to myself and to them. And so then moving then into this axis of service where we're going, oh yes, now we've taken all the lessons we've got from recognizing our own divinity and putting ourselves first. And now we're looking at, all right, how can I use that to serve? How can I use this for my mission? And the nodes have gone. So South Node, past karma, past lives, you know, where we've come from, where we're comfortable, what we are integrating, but integrating so we can leave behind is Virgo. And for me, this has really been saying, like, one, you cannot forget you have incarnated in a human body. This is Earth school, baby. Virgo, physical. That's first. What are you doing to your body?
Right.
What have you done to your body? What do you need to do to and for your body? My teacher has come through and said that we're no longer called light workers. We're called temple workers because we are incarnated in, and for me, we're incarnated in a physical vessel. We're incarnated in 3D. At that, we could not be living our mission. We can't live our mission if we don't honor where we are first. And so integrating that, what needs to happen, what needs to be integrated into your physical being first. That could be anything. That could be weight, that could be hormone issues, that could be mental health issues, that could be the foods we're putting in our body, that could be the way we're moving our body, that could be the media we're consuming, that could be anything. But anchoring that in, integrating that lesson, in anchoring in the temple, so that we can then leave it. Because people, you know, I'm sure you've come across people who are like, oh, I'm not meant to be in this physical body, I'm a starseed and I can't wait to leave. It's like,
or the breath area.
You missed the memo.
Yeah.
You missed the memo.
Yeah.
I know, right? And it's like, and those people are meant to exist. Yes, we need them, because how can we possibly see what is possible? You know, you need to, it's all about the realms of possibility, but
of course,
as a rule, it's probably not you and me, babies. Probably not. Like, I'm here to have babies and learn and share, and physical experience as a part of it, so that we can then leave and connect. And so if you are like someone who's, so to describe myself, someone who's learned this in quite recent years, had mystical experiences whole life, but learned this in recent years and gone, oh, okay, I've got to shift what I'm doing internally and physically, because that's how I can ascend from mind conscious, from the 3D into spirit and soul conscious, and beyond into sacred heart and into connection. I was reading a yogic text, Purusha, like how we can to then into that. But when that experience is finished, we're still going to come back to physical.
Right.
And if you want to, and then the word grounding, people are like, oh, you got to ground.
Yeah.
You can't just ground down, you have to ground up as well.
Yeah.
And so this energy of as above, so below.
Right.
That's really, really big. Earth star chakra, soul star chakra, like bringing the two parts together in harmony. It's great to be earthing down. You should do that. It's got amazing health benefits. That's a physical thing. That's a Virgo thing. Go out and do that.
Yeah.
But do that so that you can remember your divinity.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely so interesting, the journey of it all. And it's really fun because like I said to you before, I listen and I take action. And I've learned over the years that that's the mechanism that's where we're meant to all be, is like so connected to soul, our source, divinity, and moving through in that perspective and still being a human. So earlier in 2024, I just kept hearing, you're going dry in 2025, like no alcohol. And it's not like I drink a lot of alcohol, but every so often I love to have a drink. And especially it's like an experience for me. I'm like, I'll go out with a friend and we're sitting on the bar and having espresso martinis and being bougie and all that shit. But this year of 2025, I'm going dry. So if we look at the Virgo energy of what that's representing and what we're moving into, well, it makes so much sense, in the space of that all. Like, I don't look at it from...
And it may not be forever. It may just be while the South Node is in Virgo.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Because we're part of the channel. And because after Virgo Pisces, we're going to get Leo Aquarius. And the North Node is going to be in Aquarius.
Wow.
And again, it's only 18 months. It's a snippet. We're talking about, we've had Saturn in Aquarius is finished. That was my Saturn return. That was COVID. We've got Pluto has just entered Aquarius. This is one of those signs that like the age of Aquarius is coming, but we're starting to step into it. We're going to have this little mini one where we have this North Node in Aries and in Aquarius. Like, you look at the precession of the equinoxes, we're still a lifetime away, like a literal human lifetime away from the age of Aquarius as a precession of the equinoxes visible in the sky. Here's the thing. But we're moving into it. We're starting to see and feel, and those of us who know and feel, we already know, we're already doing this. And that's the way show aspect. Like, we're doing it so that when our grandkids are doing this, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easeful. Sure. It's clear. Yeah. And a lot of the programs and conditioning has been released to make the way easier when we hit that. But there's all these little mini parts of like age of Aquarius thing coming through. And so this one here, recognizing service, recognizing your divinity, recognizing that your divinity is actually in your humanity, finding that channel, find that connection, as above, so below, will then help when we move into Leo Aquarius, when we actually have to speak about this. Like, people think like, oh, there's been a spiritual awakening and everyone's into it now. Wait for the next nodal shift. Give it 2 years.
I've been telling everybody, we're still in a dark phase of 2025. Like, people think it's already broken. I'm like, guys, we're climbing up until like expansion in 2027, just feeling.
Well, it's a 9-year. Like, we've got so much to let go of this year. It's a 9-year, we've got heaps to let go of. And there's only something like, so you're aware of like retrogrades and all the planets retrograde.
Yep.
When no planets are in retrograde is usually our period of most energy and movement.
Yeah.
I think there's like maybe 30 days this whole year where there's no planets in retrograde at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it's not a year to get shit done. Yeah. Everyone's going to have their own placements and actions and movements and missions and goals and desires and dreams. But it's not, if you feel like this is a year to be doing things, again, just wait another 2 years, like wait until there's less retrograde energy affecting us. Wait until we hit Aquarius. But that's where, like, this is the bit you've got to do the life. You've got to step by step through it. I've been watching the nodes now since Gemini Sagittarius. And every time we've gone to a new nodal shift, that's really anchored in for me. Like, I've gone, oh, that I can see my lesson. And sometimes I get it really strong beforehand, like the me versus we came through before we hit Aries Libra. But the lessons that I had to learn from that came during it.
Right.
Same thing. This particular one, this Virgo Pisces, has only really started anchoring the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what I'm going to actually learn during it, when it's actually active in our skies. And we'll also have Saturn conjunct North Node in that as well. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be releasing. It's going to be showing us about time and how we use time, but also the illusion of time as well.
Yeah.
Ready for we have to go through these steps. You can't just get to the top of the mountain.
Right.
You've got to take every single step to get there.
Yeah. I love all of this. I look forward to the movement forward in general. I know there's a lot of work that needs to be done still in my own world, because that's the part of the journey. But there's also the duality of being able to have peace through the journey too, which is something that's really been fun. I have my North Node's in Leo, so it'll be interesting when it goes into South Node, what that actually represents for me. That time.
I find that when that happens, we have that nodal return, but it's an opposition. A lot of it is about integrating. So you'll be integrating while your North Node is like, hey, I already know this, and the collective is going, we're working this out. Part of it you'll be integrating that, but partly you'll be way showing.
Yeah.
Like that'll be a big way show aspect. Of course, your South Node is in Aquarius. You've already done this before.
Yeah.
You already know that. Yeah. South Node Aquarius, I think, is a really strong a Starseed lineage point. Like, of course you're an alien.
Yeah. I know.
You've been an alien before. Like,
I'm like, I only incarnate.
It's right there.
Yeah, I only incarnate when the soul's mission, like when the Earth's blueprint is off. That's part of my soul's mission. So when Atlantis fell, when all this other stuff transpired, like I jump into a physical form to come to Earth to help recalibrate it back in. So this makes a lot of sense as to why I have an Aquarius self.
And that's that nodal axis when I'm looking at an individual's chart will often give us a clue as to where they come from, where they're going, not just in this soul's lifetime.
Yeah.
Like obviously this soul's lifetime is part of that, but it's that's one of those points that's like, this is the indicator of not your mind conscious, what your mind conscious is doing right now, but your spirit and your soul and your all that is, and how you fit into that complex matrix of divinity and God universe.
Yeah, this is so cool. Do you do one-off sessions for? Yes. Okay, cool. So if someone's like been listening to this, they're like, I want to know my stuff, they can contact you directly, which will obviously have all of your contact info in the show notes. And I encourage everyone to do that anyways. Like tag us on Instagram. We're active there. We want to know if you're listening, what you've learned from this session. Apparently my cat's telling me it's time for us to finish, because she's like going nuts. I know. We're closing up, honey. We're closing.
We told you we needed an alarm.
Yeah, I know. In the space of it all, but like I love the dimension of what you brought today, and thank you so much for freely sharing your gift to the world. And she's probably going to like stop recording or something with her head. And I'm like, hello, give us 5 more minutes and all the things.
We're wrapping up. I promise.
Yeah. Most people that have listened to this podcast know Tony, because she actively comes on with messages and stuff too, consistently all the time. So she's one of those types of cats. But yeah, just seriously, thank you for sharing your gift and all the light. And
no, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, me too. So everything will be in the show notes for you guys. I'm going to like encourage you guys to reach out to Sasha. If you loved anything about this, tag us on Instagram, share it out, send it to a friend. Someone may be asking for this kind of information and needed the messages today. And, you know, we're all in this together. I say this all the time. It's like we're building communities in all different aspects, meaning when we're called to share, our job is to share and step up into that space. So yeah, any closing thoughts that you want to say before we hit done?
No.
Good.
I think we got there. Yeah,
I think so.
You just know, you do these podcasts and you don't go in with a plan, and you get like, oh, anything else? Like, no, that's it. That's the transition.
We're complete. Yeah, we're complete. So again, like just so grateful for us in this chat today and the co-creation that came through.
Absolutely.
And for all you guys listening, so grateful for all of you, and we'll see you guys all in the next episode.
Well, we know that you like the podcast potentially because you're still here listening to this actual audio at this moment of time. So all that we're going to ask is, can you please just help us share it out? Tag some friends, share it with a friend, help us spread the word, because each of us moving through together as we collaborate, as we move within this light warrior movement, helps each of us illuminate in lights. And we're just so grateful. I'm so grateful. The guests are always so grateful too, that you help us spread the word, that you help us really step into this space to be able to own all of our pathway. And we are just so grateful to have you here. And thank you again for listening.